So number one, congratulations, lady. And number two, we're gonna give her the credit of being back to back top dog because next week's a train more week, and there will not be a top dog call next week. But I'm assuming she's going to be top dog this week unless somebody, and she doesn't have to be. Any one of you could go out and crush it today, tomorrow, Sunday, be up at 20K by next week. But my assumption right now is Brooklyn's got the title 2 weeks in a row, which is an even more impressive feat. So, very, very good job, lady. Let everyone know a little bit about your story, where you came from, why you ended up here, what you're trying to accomplish. Just a little bit about you.
Okay. So I let's start from when I lived in Yakima. So I was in college for about 4 years. I moved back home because I didn't like California, and then I moved back to Washington. Worked in coffee, or I worked in at title like a title and escrow company for about 8 months. Lost my job because of company layoffs, and then I traveled for about 6 months because didn't really get to do anything after college. Then I came back and I was like, I don't no idea what I want to do. So I worked in coffee for 2 years and I was event coordinator there. And then I just hit a standstill where I was like, I don't want to be in Yakima anymore. I don't want to be doing coffee anymore. I'm worth so much more than that. I'm wasting my time. I could be making so much more money. I could be helping people in such a different way. And I just wanted to challenge myself. So um, finally found this job, and it was rough coming into testing. I was super excited though. I was like, it's super overwhelming, when you first start the exam and you're like, there's so much new information, and not a lot of people even know what insurance does or insurance is and how many limitations and laws there are with it. So you're like overwhelmed by information, and I was failing and failing and failing my test. And then finally, it took me like 2 weeks, I think, to get it. And then I ended up moving to Moses Lake, where my territory is, which is about an hour and a half away. And it took me 2 weeks to do my sales talk. And I emailed John and I was like, or texted John one night and I was like, I'm just not ready for the sales talk review. Like, I'm gonna need another week. And that's when he was like, oh no, like this girl's, because usually when you say you need another week, that's what he told me. He's like, when you say you need another week, you're just kind of like, you didn't really do the work. And then I went in, did my sales talk the next week. Felt pretty good about it. And then Kaisa came down to do some training. Well, first off, I like tried to get beast mode and had no clue what I was doing. Walked into a furniture store and you first demo is it was the first person I walked into and he let me demo him. And I just sat there and I was like, hey, what am I doing now? Like, I don't know what to do. Oh, this is happening. Like, this is happening. I'm demoing. Oh gosh, okay, what do I say? And so just got past that, and then Kaisa came down. My first week was knots therapy, so we did like a group, not like she did a group presentation and then we started getting appointments. So that was over the course of like a few weeks of getting appointments, and that week and then the next week and things like that. And then uh the following week, I went to the train more and was like super just like not disappointed, but I was disappointed. I was disappointed. My Idaho license came through. That was my fault. I was simply unorganized. My Idaho license had came through a little bit earlier than expected, but I didn't see it. So I was in Newport the whole time and just going to businesses that like had already, had people run through it. So they already knew what I was doing. And it was really hard to find people that hadn't like seen our product before. And not to mention, this whole time, I have not like bought the policies for myself. So I'm going to mention that, and that's important to note for later. And then the third week, I'm like, knowing I have to go to, we planned this vacation for Mexico like months prior. So I knew I was going that week, and I went to the train more and nothing happened. And I was like so stressed because I was like, oh no, I really want to get my quick start. How am I going to make this happen? I'm going to be gone for 2 days. Or I'm going to be gone for like 5 days. And so I went in Monday, Tuesday. I had an appointment and I made it happen. Got on the board that week, and then I had a horrible, horrible vacation trip because we traveled for 4 days and we were only there for 3 days because we had cancellations. We slept in the airport. All these things happened. It was like the worst travel experience you could think of. That was what happened to me. And so, um, finally got back on like we were supposed to get back Sunday night and I got back Monday afternoon at like 2 and I was like, okay, I'm gonna sleep for like 2 hours and I'm gonna just go out in the field and I just want to get my first demo in because if I just get my first demo in, it's gonna be horrible. I already know. I have been, out for 5, 6 days. If I just get it in, then I'm gonna feel better about tomorrow when I'm like, I already biffed it, so it's fine. Just, I need to just get it under my boots. So went out, did that, and then um that week I didn't make any sales till Friday night. And then I was like, at this point, I was kind of like I was like, Kaisa had a conversation with me. And she's like, look, there's four like core things. I can't remember all of them right now, but one of them was belief. The other one was like
Attitude,
attitude and
habits.
habits, things like that. And she's like, I don't understand why you're not getting sales because you like are putting in the work and you're doing everything right. And I was like, I don't know. Like, and then she was like, look, like you got to believe in the product. And I was like, well, I do believe in the product. She's like, you got to get it. And I'm like, okay, well, so finally I was like, I already planned on getting it anyway, but I just wanted to see, like, just in case I wouldn't make my quick start, I was like, I'm just gonna get the top plans across the board and try and see if I can like, get other sales that way. Saturday, Sunday come across or come along and finally get like 5 sales in one day on Saturday. And I was like, whoa, like didn't know this was gonna happen, had no idea like this is even a I had no idea that this was going to happen. I didn't know my whole week could be flipped around within one day. And then Sunday came along and I was so exhausted. I was burnt out, but I was like, you know what, whatever. I need to do this. I need to keep going. I scheduled an appointment. There's a Boeing we have a Boeing facility over here and I know some people there. And one of our roommates, he works for Boeing, and so he gets off at 11 p.m. And I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna demo him. It's Sunday night. Why not see if I can get it? I didn't expect him to buy it, and he's 20-year-old. He's fine. He's doing fine, and demoed him 11 p.m. in my pajamas. And got a sale and I got my quick start. So it was kind of crazy just because I put in so much work. I was doing my demos and I finally got the product and everything just started happening for me. So it was kind of just crazy. Then this week, um, went out. I was like, okay, like my goal is just was 5,000 as a green out. It's like, I'm just gonna put 5,000, right? Like that's a big number for me, but like I'm just gonna put it out there. Literally go out. I'm, going out to all these landscaping businesses. I meet this, 52-year-old woman, business owner, doesn't have any health insurance. And, you know, I don't know what clicked in me, but I was like, I just made sure that I slowed down because I had been going over my sales script. Like I had like, recorded it and made sure that I was like trying to figure out what I'm doing wrong and not wrong, but like what I could fix in my sales script. And I had some people tell me that like you're going too fast, like you're getting in there and you're going through too fast. So it looks like you don't care about the people. Like it looks like you don't. It looks like you're not. It looks like you just don't care as much and you're just worried about like what you're saying. And
Mhm.
so you need to slow down because like just take like 2 breaths right before you go into your next like little thing you have to say. And so I did, and I don't know what sparked in me that 52-year-old woman, but we had the best conversation. I was there for like an hour. I was just myself, and I was like, "Look, like this, you don't need to get this product if you don't want to, but like this product is awesome. And if you like, I need to show you because this product literally helps people. And in your situation, you don't have anything and you're older. And she's like, I'm concerned about all these. And, like these are all a concern for me. I'm older. I don't have any health insurance. Like, what is going to happen? She's like, so I went over some numbers and she's like, I just don't think this is enough. And then I was like, me either, girl. Like, let's get you higher. Let's just raise the bar here. Let's get you all elite across the board. And so we did. And then I walked out and I had like $6,400 by Monday. And I was like, what just happened? What do I do now? I already got my goal. Like, I don't even know what to do. Um, and so I just kept going on. And then I realized there's such a need for it here. Like, oh, so many people don't have health insurance. Like, why are we not showing this to them? It's cheap. It's affordable. You can get your money back. Like, why are we not showing this to people? And like, why, I don't know. Something just clicked inside of me. And then I was like, I just want to give this to as many people as I can. This really helps people. And then 4 days into this week, I get a call, and someone had slit their finger open and had used his accident plan. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is being, this is useful. This is useful. So my belief just started to grow. And it just, I don't know, it's been kind of cool because now I'm like, it's from, not that I didn't care about, helping and getting this in front of people before, but like once you see how much people need and you like go from a perspective of like, okay, I'm just going to go through my sales script to like, what do they need? And like, how can I cater this to them? And what is going to not make them buy it, but like, why do they need it? And then we go off of that, and it just completely has changed my like sales talk and everything. So not sales talk, but like has completely changed my like intention behind like why I'm going to people. And I want to help them and I'm helping them. So why are we not getting this in front of more people? And yeah, so it's a
I
long
love it.
version, long version of my story, but yeah.
So I'm going to go back and touch on a few things that you hit on there. Number one, good job telling that story. You went all the way through.
Yeah,
But
sorry.
no, good. Like the reason we do this interview style most of the time is because most people can't just tell their story like that. And so I just got out of your way and you killed it. But I want to dig deeper on some of the stuff that you said. Going back to the beginning, before you were even getting here, you're talking about self worth, right?
Hmm.
I'm worth more. I should be making more. I should be doing something with more purpose. And I think everyone feels that calling, but don't really pursue it. What made you pursue it?
Pursue self-worth.
Pursue, like, I'm worth more than this. I need to find something that
Oh,
matches my personal worth. What made you go, it's time for a new career? What was the like toppling brick?
honestly, I just started to realize the people around me were not who I wanted to be around.
Mm.
Um, I realized if I stay in a place where, everyone around me is like a felon and um my managers are like in prison and like I've done things like that, like maybe I'm gonna pick up some habits that are not, for me. And you kind of like feel after about a few years of it, you're like, okay, maybe I can do more, like maybe why not me? That's
Mm.
kind of where it happened is just like why not me? And I've had so many people like around me tell me I can do things and then give me backhanded compliments and be like, you shouldn't do that. It's too hard. Or, and especially being a woman, it's so much different. It's so much different. Like, no offense, men to the men here, but it is so much different when, you're a woman and you like have this. For me, I've always wanted to be a grower. Like I've always wanted to grow and I've always wanted to be a strong woman because, you know, no, like this is kind of deep to me, but like my mom wasn't, my mom had a job for 35 years that she had like, you just needed your GED. Like she didn't really strive for the stars. Like I wish she would have. And she didn't show me, that you could do more. And so for me to like hop into a position where it's limitless and I can do whatever I put in is what I'm going to get out is something that I wanted really badly, because then it's just
Hmm.
proving it to myself, and it's me versus me. So, yeah.
Good. So, what I want to highlight to you guys here is one thing that I say is the most important thing in life in general, is self awareness. Okay. She was self aware enough to go, I'm worth more. She was self aware enough to look at her community and go, I don't want to be the sum of these five people. I want to be the sum of five different people. And I need to find that group of people. Um, when she was talking about sales talk and she's like, I wasn't ready. And I told John, and John was like, are you even really working on it? And then I came back and I passed it. Guys, it was probably the best sales talk review I've ever done up to yesterday, where another girl we just hired basically did the same thing. But she was self aware enough to go, I know I'm not ready. And she took another week, took a week off of getting paid, and she came back and crushed that sales talk. Like, she knew, I'm not ready for this. I'll let you know when I'm ready. She came and proved me wrong. Okay. So the self awareness on this girl is immense. It helped her get here. It helped her make sure that her shit was in line before she got going. And then she came in, and this is the one that I really want to hammer on, because Kaisa called me after she said Kaisa had a conversation with me about the 4 pillars of success. And she was like, I don't know what's going on. We're doing demo after demo after demo. And I was like, dude, and I broke down what I saw after 8 years in the career and watching a bunch of new agents go through this career. I was like, dude, I don't know why people don't understand this. You come here and you think that you can sell somebody something and convince them it's worth their money when you haven't convinced yourself it's worth the money. The number one client you should have is you, unless you came here as a client. Like, the audacity when you go out and you're like, oh, you should buy this, and someone's like, money's tight. What are you going to say? I didn't sign up because money's tight. I didn't sign up because I haven't talked to my spouse. I didn't sign. You have to do whatever you have to do to buy into that product, because you have no idea. You think it's some stupid thing like a product or money on the board, or that we're looking for a submit, or you think it's something surface level. It is literally a ingrained belief of like, yeah, I own this. And when you show up with ownership of your product, when you file your LLC and you show up differently when you have a business entity that you represent, that's yours. You're not selling Family Heritage's product. You're selling Divinity Group's culture, how we do business, our customer service. When you show up as an owner of your product, your business, the belief that you communicate to people when you go, I know I'm going to need this. Oop, client just used it. They needed it. You need this. When she showed up and started being like, how can I help you figure out how this will help you? That click that she's talking about, a belief. Devin just went through and showed you guys, she did this much on this week, this much on this week. She had her training week with Kaisa, which almost all agents have a really good first week because their agent is helping them, or their trainer is helping them. She had a 0 week on a train more. She traveled and hit that production. The business that you guys see of the 12,000 and the 8,000 last week, that's been written since she wrote her own policies on Friday. So when we talk about she did this much since, no, she did this much since she bought the product. So the belief that she had and how she shows up out in the world now as a believer, not only in that she owns the product, but now she's seen somebody use it. So now she's coming from double belief, right? I own it and people use it. You're going to need it too. So just talk about like maybe the nerves of why you didn't have the policy for 4 weeks, and then like what it's, I mean, I'm sure you know how much money you've made in the last 7 days. But yeah, just talk about that shift a little more
Um,
deeply.
yeah, so I worked in coffee, so I wasn't making great money. And I was only working about 24 hours a week. So like it was very, very part-time. And that was slim pickings. And I didn't really have any other support. I mean, um, my family lives there, but we had that's a whole different story for another time. But yeah, just not a lot of support when it came to that. And I moved here. So I had like a deposit, I had my rent, I had my all the bills were racking up. And my savings was being like depleted. And so I was like, I don't know how I'm gonna afford, I don't know how I'm gonna afford it. Like, I just honestly, I kept telling myself, I don't know how I'm gonna afford it. And then I was like, okay, one more sale, and then I'll just pull the trigger and get it. And so I guess that was kind of just it was you got to find a way. You got to find a way because it's needed. So I don't really have
So
an answer for that, really. Just
that's
I see these
exactly
things.
that's exactly the answer I wanted because I'm going to show you guys something. And I try to tell this to every agent before this happens, but it just sometimes it doesn't click, and you're living in the same place of fear that all of the people that you're going to talk to in the field are living from. How am I going to make it work? How am I going to afford? But the difference is, as soon as you bought that product, your premiums just came out yesterday, didn't they?
Yeah, I think so.
So your premiums of how much?
My whole for the month, it's like
Your personal premiums,
167, I think, 167.
$167 that just came out today, Thursday. If you subtract your premium out from last week, you add $6,000 in business at a 30% commission is $1,800. Then 12,000 times 34 or 35% is $4,200. So we're at 6,000 plus your quick start bonus, $7,000 in income after you spent $160. But you don't know how I'm going to afford it. You have to trust your trainers. As soon as you spend this 160, $7,000 is going to come into your account. That's going to cover 4 years worth of premiums for you.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to believe, you have to take that step and go, yeah, maybe I don't know how it's going to work out. But in the beginning, if you have no money, get a base level across the board. What is that, $40 a month? Between your
Probably.
$3 ICU plan, your $15 accident plan, your $8 heart plan, it's like 35, $40. And the business doesn't come out for 4 days, but now you believe you own the product,
Yeah.
right? And you might not earn $7,000 over the next 7 days like Brooklyn did and average $1,000 a day in income, but you will start making more sales. So I'll turn it to you guys for questions, comments, stuff like that because it's 8:30. But take the floor.
One thing I wanted to ask about, and you kind of touched on this, but I want you to go a little bit deeper on a Voxer chat that has John, myself, Kaiser, and you. You put on there, I'm so happy that I chose to get the elite level because somebody asked me, what do I have? And I was able to tell them I got the elite level, and guess what they got, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I just think like John's 100% correct. I was one of those like when I came in, I had to start small. There was just no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And then I worked my way up. But one thing I noticed is that we don't see the world as it is. We see the world as we are. And the objection that we give ourselves is the same objection that other people are going to give us. And one thing I noticed is that when I had small policies, I sold a ton of small policies. In fact, I became a top producer on almost 100% small policies. Number one in ABG. I worked really, really, really hard on selling out all small policies. And then when I got bigger policies, the job became a little bit easier. Why? Because I changed, not them. All right, sorry. Anybody
Yeah.
else who want to add something?
Questions, comments, concerns. You got a back-to-back top producer here, guys.
Absolute animal, Brooklyn. Like I said in the chats, you're amazing inspiration for all of us, especially even me, even though I've been here a little bit longer than you. Absolute inspiration. Great job.
Thank you. Appreciate you guys.